Hi, I'm Carl Lanning from Brazos River Charter School, and now for This Week in History, specifically December 15th through 21st. Well, first we have December 16th of 1773, the Boston Tea Party. This is a full-scale replica of one of the three ships that was in port that day. It's a fantastic museum in Boston if you ever get the chance. On the day of December 16th, 1773, a total of 342 chests of tea were thrown overboard by the Sons of Liberty. Probably about $1.5 million worth of damage to property, as you would say. Like I said, the museum is really neat because they have things for people of all ages. One of the things that I really enjoyed was the only known surviving chest of tea. Out of the 342, this was the only one that was ever recovered. They have a very strict no photography policy. I took 2 photos. In my defense, you put me in the same room with a camera as the only known relic of one of the most famous events in American history and tell me that I can't take a photograph, I throw myself on the mercy of the court. And to move on then. Here we go. On December the 15th of 1791, the Bill of Rights, which would be right here, was ratified. The 9th state to approve it, Virginia did, and so therefore it went into effect. This is inside the National Archives building in Washington, D.C., where you can see the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. If you ever get the chance again, I highly urge you take it. It's amazing that in the United States we're actually a fairly young country, yet our Constitution is the oldest written Constitution. It's also the shortest written Constitution anywhere in the world. It always amazed me that the Founding Fathers were able to create a country in 5 pages, yet our Congress can't pass a highway bill in less than 2,000. I guess all that pork must take up a lot of space. Well, and then we come to the main event, December 17th, 1903, the Wright Brothers. 1903, near Kill Devil Hill in North Carolina, the very first, and you have to get this right, heavier than air, powered, manned flight. Short version, the first thing we think of as being an airplane. Anyway, the Wright brothers took an amazingly scientific approach to their work. This is actually the first flight, by the way. It wasn't just some sort of let's throw something together and see if it works. They actually built their own design of a wind tunnel so that they could test wing shapes to find out which one would be the most efficient. This is it. They tested over 200 different wing shapes to see which one would be the most efficient. Number 9 won. There was no motor in existence that would provide the amount of power necessary to stay within their weight budget. They wanted to be under 200 pounds, but a minimum of 8 horsepower, which, that's not that much. This engine they designed and built themselves. They had some help with people building other parts. And if I remember right, I believe this is the first internal combustion engine to actually use some aluminum parts in order to save weight. Aluminum was rather difficult to work with in 1903. But they did over 700 tests using gliders, some of them manned, some of them operating like kites. The amazing amount of research went into this. Now, this is the Wright Flyer itself, number 1. What's pretty amazing is how much the Wright brothers got right in 1903. And by that, what I mean is, if you notice this here. Now, this is what would usually be mounted on the rear of the aircraft. If you think of the way a T-tail on a plane looks, the horizontal part, the cross of the T, is what controls the pitch of the aircraft, nose up or nose down. The Wright brothers believed that if you put it in the front, that it would give them more control of the aircraft and it would make it more maneuverable. If you look at a lot of the latest generation of fighter aircraft from the most advanced air forces on Earth, they actually use this type of an idea. Now, something else that a lot of them are grabbing onto as well is a lot of producers of small airliners, American Eagle, the puddle jumper types, are going to the pusher style propeller rather than a puller. This would be the idea of the putting the horizontal on the front. But the pusher, what they found is the Wright Brothers did it because they believed it would be more efficient and it would be safer. What a lot of people are finding out is that, well, actually it is much more fuel efficient to have it on the rear, and it also reduces a lot of the noise inside the cabin. So there is actually some great advantage to doing this. The propeller itself is actually something that always blew me away. Today, with computer-aided design and lasers to cut, the most efficiency we can get out of a wooden propeller is 85%. In 1903, the Wright brothers got 70%. By 1911, they had gotten 77%. That's not too bad for two high school graduates using a hatchet, a draw knife, and sandpaper. Well, that's it for this week in history. Hope you enjoyed it. Next week, if we're able to, I'd like to share a personal story to you that does have some historical significance, involving a great honor I once received having to do with a cowbell. I'm Carl Lanning, this is Brazos River Charter School, and we hope to see you right here next week.